intro. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Wellness Wednesday. Um, my name's Crystal. My channel is Real Lady Electrician, and today we're talking about asking for help. I've got some articles we didn't finish last week, so we're gonna keep going through them. And no, that's just saying I'm now live. So what? Why is it not showing up live if I'm live? Is my thing behind? Hello, end stream, live chat.
Is my thing behind?
Oh, okay, no, I'm still here.
Stream.
Okay.
Live chat. Is my thing behind?
Oh, okay, no, I'm still here.
Okay, live chat.
So I'm going to turn my volume down. Welcome, everybody. I don't know what happened, but welcome to Wellness Wednesday. We're talking about how to ask for help. My name's Crystal. Welcome to the channel, Real Lady Electrician. We do this almost every Wednesday at 1:30, and we're talking about asking for help today. So the reason I wanted to start this topic was because I know several people who need help who just refuse to get it or ask for it, and I never understood why. But then when I think back, I didn't ask for help right away either. And so I had to kind of go back in my memories and see why I didn't, why I eventually did, and how that affected me. So that's why we're talking about that today. The article we have is from um, let me show you. The Harvard, I need to put my glasses on. The Harvard Business Review. And we covered the first half last week. And I don't know if you can go and see that because we need to clean out our StreamYard. It's full. So I'll be doing that later on. But yeah, so just last week we covered, I'll just go back and talk about the topics that we covered. Why it's so hard to ask for help. Or the different things we covered. The fear of being vulnerable is the reason people don't. The need to be independent, the fear of losing control, the fear of rejection, over empathizing with others, a sense of victimhood. I believe that's where we're going to start today. Yeah, there I am. And so let me just start reading and we will chat along the way. All right. This might help you be able to read better. There we go. Why is it so hard to ask for help? One of the reasons is a sense of victimhood. People who go through life thinking, I don't deserve to be helped, I'm not worthy, rarely seek support. Constantly hearing this inner voice, they develop a poor me attitude and believe it is their fate to sacrifice and struggle on their own. Now, I think that might be subconscious. I don't think we all feel like that. But there's a reason we don't feel worthy or we don't deserve help. There's a reason that we feel that way. So, a sense of victimhood, I don't want to say that that's like blaming the victim, but there's a reason that people feel like they don't deserve help and they don't feel worthy. So the poor me attitude, and believe it's their fate to sacrifice and struggle on their own. I'm not sure about all that. Let's finish reading and maybe it'll be clearer. Clearly, many of the people caught up in these behaviors have self-esteem issues. They are highly self-critical and often don't believe they've earned the privilege of asking for others' time and energy. Sometimes they don't even understand what they really need or how others can help them. Adverse childhood experiences like neglect and abuse may have contributed to their reluctance. See, there's a reason. People who have endured abuse often try to be invisible by making very few demands. But history isn't destiny. Once you figured out why you avoid asking for help, it's possible to change your behavior. And we discussed some of the different ways that we were affected Um, Rewriting the inner script, and a lot of us call this self-talk. Um, or a lot of therapists call it self-talk, talking to yourself. Be kind to yourself. Don't be so negative to yourself. Those thoughts that were ingrained in your head when you were younger, as a child, or even as an adult, by a bully, by a boss, by, a family member, those type of things. So here we go. Drawing on my work with many high performing executives who have struggled to ask for help, I've identified a number of ways that people can get better at it. Here's how I use them in Martha's case. Seek counsel. Martha came to me after one of her friends suggested that she see a coach or a therapist. He noted that such people are in the profession of helping others. They get paid for it, so asking for their assistance might feel more comfortable to her. After some hesitation, she made an appointment with me, and during our first few sessions, she got a taste for how good it felt to be supported and championed. We talked about what was preventing her from seeking help and discovered that it was a pattern she'd picked up in childhood. With an absentee father and a depressed mother, she'd fallen into playing the caretaker role, always giving support but never expecting to get it from others. We worked to build her self confidence and self awareness and got her to accept that she would burn out if she didn't ask for help. All right. It's my hope that those of you who struggle to seek help can explore your blockages yourself and recognize that on your own the importance of getting over them. Recognize on your own the importance of getting over them. Reading this article could be a great first step, but if you find you need further encouragement, digital technology has made it easier than ever to find the right coach or therapist. Reframe. Martha also needed to reframe the problem she was facing. I wanted her to seek assistance, not as burdening her husband or colleagues, but as giving them an opportunity to step up. Let me start over. I think I read that too fast. Martha also needed to reframe the problem she was facing. I wanted her to see asking for assistance not as a burden her husband or colleagues, not as a burden her husband or colleagues, but as giving them an opportunity to step up and contribute to the success of the family or the team. A win-win proposition. Martha found that when she did ask a few of her direct reports to research potential new suppliers, they were excited to do so. When you place trust in others, you show that you value them, which deepens the relationship. In turn, they'll trust you enough to ask for help when they're in need themselves. Indeed, after reaching out to a few people for advice and assistance on minor matters, Martha discovered that those people now viewed her as more approachable and would often seek her opinion. Okay. Let's see. Okay, here we go. Hi, Wavy. I wanted to say hello. I am away from home. Thank you for coming in, and hello to you too. Let me make me bigger. When I was sexually molested, I thought because of religious reason I wasn't worthy. I was very young and didn't understand. Absolutely, Joe. Absolutely. And through that, sometimes, like you said, for religious reasons, you weren't worthy. Hello, Michelle. Hi, Joe. And I think that's what they were talking about in what we were just reading. The part about not feeling worthy. Let's see. Yeah, a sense of victimhood. So there's a reason you didn't feel worthy. It's not like you were a drama queen or anything, but that's what sometimes we're made to feel like, asking for help. You're a drama queen. You don't need help. Be normal. Step up and whatever. Buttercup. Hey, Frugal Mama, how you doing? Today we're talking about how to ask for help or reasons we don't ask for help. So, Yeah, I totally understand, Joe. Frugal mama, frugal mama. You doing okay? Mm. Okay. I just was reading the comments. But feeling less than, not worthy, like and feeling invisible, all those things come from abuse and neglect. So there's a reason that we feel this way. It's not just, we're just like I said, we're not just, oh, I don't want to ask for help because I'm such the martyr, the drama queen. That needs to go. That needs to be gone. That stigma, because everyone that asks for help is not that person. And when people do say that, get over it, you're a drama queen, whatever. And not a lot of people say that to me because I don't overshare. But if someone asks me, I'm going to tell them the truth. So where was I going with that? I took my medicine. There's no reason for me not to be on point. Hey, Shelly, how are you doing? um, So yeah. So there are reasons that we feel like we can't ask for help. So it's not just at first when I read that, I was like, are you blaming the victims? That first little paragraph, I was like, that didn't sound right. So then when I finally finished it, it did make more sense. That there is a reason that we feel this way. It's not just because, um, like I said, some people, I'm not looking for attention. I'm not asking you to help me. You're alive. I'm glad you're alive, Shelly, and you're here with us today. I'm very glad you're alive. Um, so yeah, when people come at you like that, it's very hard because not only are you already feeling like you don't deserve it, then they make you feel even worse that you don't deserve help. So, yeah. So I'm not going to read any more about the lady that she's talking about her personal story because I want to get on to the next article. Take the SMART approach. Let's see what this is. SMART is an acronym for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. That sounds very complicated to me. I told you guys it's in the Harvard Business Review. Communicate. It's a long article. Practice. Okay, so we're going to go to the next one. We're going to see if this is on here. We're going to share. Present. We're going to the next article. Share screen. Now, there's probably going to be some similarities, but hopefully this will still spark a different conversation. Okay. Go back to StreamYard. Stop screen. Present. Share screen. Let's try this one. From Psychology Today. Let's try this one. Why is it so hard to ask for help? Asking for help means admitting that you need it. And so what I want to ask is, those of us in here who have gotten help, different ways that you were able to break through those issues and to actually ask for help, things that you did to help yourself, things that you did, even if they're just little steps you took. How did you break out of that to ask for help? I've already told you my story. So what I need is more input from you guys on different ways that you were able to ask for help if you did. Wilma, just want to say hi, can't stay. No worries, Wilma. How are you doing today? How are you doing? It's good to see you. I think I might be hyped up on coffee. That might be why I couldn't keep a thought in my head. Have a great day. We'll be here for a minute if you want to pop back in. Oh, and I'm having a delicious treat with my coffee today. I probably shouldn't be having. It's a pumpkin cookie, and it has a pumpkin cream on top. I am good. Harvey got his staples out this morning. Awesome. Awesome. Mm, that cookie is so good. The frosting on top you think can be super sweet, but it's not. Mm-hmm. Cafe. Oh, and you can't see because I'm holding it in my right hand. Go Lions! After the wreck, I didn't want to go to therapy. I talked to my dad and he said it doesn't hurt to try. So I did. I've been going on and off as needed for 15 years. That is awesome, Joe, that you had a parent that was very smart, Chalet, that was very smart at the time when you were young to say that therapy was something good for you at that time. A lot of us did not have that. So I think that's awesome that at that time, even with all the stigma and the negativity, you still had a parent step up and say, I think it would be good. I think you should try it. When I had parents that were like, you're fine. Sorry, not a Michigan fan at all. Who are you a fan of? Don't tell me Green Bay. My husband is a huge Lions fan. He's been a fan even when they sucked. When they did the no win season, he was still a fan. So he is loving this time. Thank you, Shelley. I'm glad you said that. But that's awesome, Joe, that you had a parent step up and give you that support. And I think that helps when you have that, it helps your mental health journey be better because you're not, just crazy. Okay. I'm a Seahawks fan. They're not bad. I liked them better when they had Mr. Cutie Pie. What was his name? He's not on them anymore. So, but yeah. You're okay. I had lots of friends that needed therapy, and their parents told them therapy was for crazy people, right? So you knew people who went through that, Joe. So I'm just so glad that you were able to have a parent to do that for you. That is awesome. And that's how we change people's thoughts on mental health. That's how. By supporting people who have mental health issues, by supporting them with any issues that they have, instead of just saying, it's not important. Don't worry about it. Get over it. All the things that we've talked about. So, better than the, Packers. Packers are stinky. Pee, Packers, pee. Yeah. Okay, so we got to get back to talking about therapy, not football. Okay. So, support from a family member, of course, is awesome if you can get it. And what I think now, that's my job as a family member. I have a pretty good, a decent sized family. I am there to support them in any. I did it. Yep. The Pewee Packers. Um, so since I didn't have it, I'm the one to give it now. And I understand, Joe, that you're also a supporter of others as well. And I know most of us here are, because the way that we were brought up, they didn't know, they didn't have the tools. We were self-medicating, it was get along by yourself. Don't trust anybody. I think that's where that came from. And we were talking, I think it even goes back further into, when people came here. I try to support anyone who comes along since I saw my friends suffer. Yeah. And that's why we're here. Joe is my biggest supporter. I know, Shelly. She is awesome. And she loves you. Yeah, yeah. And we're so glad you're here, Shelley. So yes. What I think I had too much coffee, guys. I'm so sorry. But we have another article to go through. Jo is my BFF and I love her face. That's awesome. She is awesome. So let's see. Oh, we should probably read some of this next article and see what it really is talking about so we can hit some of those points. Which one is Psychology Today? PT. Oh, I think it's this one right here. Okay. Asking for help means admitting that you need it. And I think that was considered a weakness, right? That was a weakness. This is a story. This is someone's story. So if you want to read the story, it's a story. So we're not gonna, I'll hit these 3 key points real quick and then we'll change. But here it's Psychology Today. Let me make sure you guys can see it. Yeah. Psychology Today. Why is it so hard to ask for help? It's a personal story. Right. No such thing as too much coffee. Needing help was definitely a weakness in our age group. I was lucky that my dad noticed I needed help. Yes. Yeah, you're correct, Jo. And I think you understand that well. And hope that for our future, our nieces and nephews, our cousins, our little, my niece, does that mean I'm a great aunt? So yeah, all those little guys and what they're going through, I want to be there if they need help, if they want to talk. And that's what I can do for them. So let's hit these real quick, these talking points, and then we'll move on to a different article. Refusing to ask for help suggests a kind of arrogance that it isn't worth the vulnerability. People often resist asking for help because there may be implications about perceived shortcomings. When asking for help, don't ask generally, but tell others exactly what you need. I have no problem with that. That's in this story. Refusing to ask for help suggests a kind of arrogance. I don't. Now, when you absolutely straight up refuse, I think, I don't know about arrogance, but definitely stubbornness and a fear. I think it's a fear of wanting to share. Implications about perceived shortcomings. We talked about that. Being weak. When asking for help, don't ask generally, but tell others exactly what you need. Now, this is the problem. Sometimes when you ask for help, you don't know exactly what you need. So there again, some talking points. Needing help was definitely a weakness in our age group. We already read that. Yeah, Jo. Yes. Okay. Let me get rid of this one. Stop screen. And I'm going to click off of that. Let's see what's next. No, let's do this one. Okay, let's try this one here. So, present. Share screen. Was it this one? I think it's it's this one. Share. All right. As we talked about last week, asking for help is not easy, especially for us older folks, even the younger ones too. Absolutely. We are at a point in life that asking for help is frowned upon. Yeah, we are. And that's part of our job here, is to break that stigma. We want to talk about it. And we want to hit the hard topics. And it's just with YouTube, I'm not sure how we hit the hard topics, and maybe that's why we have the private lives sometimes. And I haven't, we're going to wait till next month after Halloween. I'm working on a costume and I broke my face. So I have to start over. And so the private live is going to be for next month. And I will in the chat tell you guys which day that's going to be. It's probably going to be towards the end of the month, but definitely before Thanksgiving. So maybe the middle of the month, because we're going to need to have that chat about going to see those family members who aren't very nice about our mental health. And so how do we get along with those people? You know, we're just staying home for Thanksgiving, but I don't visit that side of the family that are the drinkers and the people who say don't get help. I visit my mom and my brothers and sisters, and they all know how I feel. So, and then when we go to my husband's family, we it depends on if they have Christmas Eve or Christmas, but when we go, I don't really talk about it. But if anybody asks me a question, like I told you, I tell the truth. Yes, I've been to rehab. Yes, this is a diagnosis that I have. This is what I take. You know, and like I was talking about medications with my who was I talking about medications with? Oh, my cousin. I said, most people, when they take medication, even for mental health, they just take what the doctor gives them. And I've told you before, I'm a bit of a control freak. I'm much better now, but when I was younger, I was horrible. Like I was an adult throwing tantrums because if something wasn't in my control, I just couldn't handle it. In my 20s. But when I put a pill in my mouth, I know the milligrams, I know what it is, and I know what it's going to do to my body or my brain. Um, And if I don't understand it, I can ask the pharmacist. But most people, 90% of people do not do that. And I do take a lot of medication. So I think it's important to know what you're putting in your mouth, what it's going to do to you, and if it's working or not. So I don't see the family members that make my issues worse. Yeah, yeah, unfortunately, that's how I am too. Yeah, because that side of the family is just, you know, like I said, there was alcoholism through my dad's whole side and drug addicts. And they were from down south, born down there, raised till they were in their teens, and then they moved up here. So they were, and it was like the Appalachians in Tennessee. Um, no, Kentucky. I'm sorry, Kentucky. I don't know if Tennessee has the Appalachians in there, but it was up in the mountains in Kentucky. And so when they moved down here, they brought a lot of those bad ideals and bad bad coping skills with them. And so I do see one of my aunts and from my dad's side, and she was the youngest. So for some reason, um, those things did not affect her. I don't know if she was really young when she moved up here. I don't remember. I know my dad was 18, so he moved to Michigan for better work opportunities. And then he met my mom, and, you know, they had babies. So I don't have like hate for them, but I don't really have love. And so sometimes you have to love people from afar. I've said that before a lot too. You just kind of stay over here. Hey, Brandy, how are you doing today? And know that you just can't be in that toxic environment. And wouldn't it be great if all of our families were perfect and we had no issues? And I don't know if that actually exists, to be honest. I really don't know, because personalities clash quite a bit, even in at work and family, in close quarters, work, family, whoever you live with, things like that. So yeah, I understand that as well. Just, you know, love them from afar. And I always try to help, but if my help is not not wanted or is rejected, and I'm going to feel rejected. So then I'm one of those people, if I'm rejected, I'm just going to step back and not. I'm a runner, I guess, is my personality trait. If I try, which I never used to try, I used to just leave. Like, I don't like you, bye. But now if I try to be, have conversation and be more open and they're not receptive, then I need to separate myself for my mental health, right? So, yeah, they did the best they could. But stuff still happens. And like the perfect family, I don't think that exists because you see so many examples, and this is TV, so how much of it is actually true? But they show a perfect family, and then they even have TV shows about it, the perfect marriage, the perfect this, and then there's this big secret, and somebody, dies or something crazy, and so Brandy's major cleaning bathroom, yeah. I am, yeah, Shelly, I'm a runner as well. Evicting all the spiders and dust bunnies. All right, Brandy, get those dust bunnies and spiders. But yeah, so did I explain that pretty good, Shelly? Okay. Because, yeah, that's my MO from even, for me to still be married is a miracle, because some of the fights when we were younger, because we got married, I was 21. So some of those early fights and stuff, you know, I could have been gone at any time, but for some reason, I think love, energy, I just couldn't be without him. But we got through all that and we're doing really good now. So that was in the 20s, when you really don't know yourself until you're in your late 30s, that kind of thing. So, all righty. Let's see. Okay, so I'm going to start this new article. Let's put me here so you guys can see it. People these days, they fight and they end it without trying to communicate and try to work it out. And, sometimes people don't want to work it out. If they're set in their ways, they don't want to hear your opinion. And they don't value your opinion as well. I mean, many of us have had our opinions not valued, and I'm sure that affected me. It just made me want to shrink up and slink away. Okay, let's go to this. Hey, you, in case no one told you. Let's see. In case no one told you, you're awesome. You're doing great. We believe you. We believe in you. Nice butt. Leave your email and we'll send you more stuff that will make you feel good. Okay, I'm going to close that. Exploring therapy. All right. Now, this website I've never been to before. So we're going to check out this article. Why it's so hard to ask for help. And so this looks like it might be interesting. So moving this, where am I at? Oh, I'm not even on the right spot. Okay. My ex and his wife said if I ever have to move, I could stay with them. And I'm like, oh, hell no. Right? People you should not stay with. Definitely exes. Definitely exes. All right. Okay, let me go back. All right. Moving this ginormous glass top wicker table, definitely a two-person job. Yet every time I thought about texting someone to ask for help, I cringed. It would be selfish of me to take up so-and-so's time with this. Everyone is busy right now. This would be such an inconvenience to ask of someone. So I steadied myself, took a deep breath, and lugged the table from my back garden to the kitchen, to the hallway, out my front door, and down a flight of stairs, nearly losing my mind and definitely scratching some paint off the walls in the process. I have always struggled with asking for help. Can you relate? Even in the most obvious of situations where help is more a necessity than a preference, I have found myself continuously shrinking back from asking. I am just like that. Like my husband was supposed to help me move the catio yesterday. And I was outside and I was able to move it. And I'm like, I'm not going to bother him. I'm just going to move it myself. I didn't hurt myself, but maybe I should have just went and said, hey, can you help me? Because he had to eventually help me anyways. Yeah, Brandy. Yeah. So let me see. Where were we at? Oh. So yeah, even in our daily life, we may not ask for help for just the little things, you know. I'd rather live in a ditch than live with them. Please do not get me wrong. I love them with my whole heart, but my ex can be an ash sometimes. So yeah. I understand. Um hmm, okay. So yeah, even though they're being kind-hearted, you know that it would not work out for you. So that's important as well because you need to know that because you can be put in some really bad situations if you don't pay attention to that. Okay, so let's go back here. All right, so we read the first paragraph here. And I think that's going to lead us into this other. When other people tell me that achieving their amazing accomplishments happen because they got help from someone, I'd always like, oh yeah, of course, we all need help. But then time and time again, when I am faced with a situation where I'm in over my head and need a hand, I either A, forget that asking for help is an option, B, do every single thing in my power to get it done on my own, even though I know that the successful people I admire most all got there with the help of many others. I still struggle with seeing asking for help as an option. Yes, I recognize hypocrisy. I'm a therapist. My clients to seek out help and support on a daily basis. So even a therapist, let's see, Brandy. Okay, let's see where we're at. Okay, so Shelly says even his wife wants to leave sometimes. So that's definitely a red flag. I believe if you want something done right, do it yourself. I'm not disagreeing, Brandy, but sometimes we need help. Joe says, I think I have a harder time asking for little things. I've gotten used to having to ask for help with big stuff mentally and physically. I think that's it, Joe. You know, because we still kind of have that. If I ask somebody, I'm bothering them. And so when it's a little thing, I just try and do it myself. I think, oh, it'll be okay. It's a little thing. And then if it doesn't turn out right, then I'm all anxious and irritated. So, just an example, my Halloween costume, I wanted to get it done by Halloween. I wanted to send the picture to the Mayron on Instagram, that 31 days of Halloween. Well, so I'm doing it myself. I'm not asking anybody for help. I should have called my brother or somebody. And so my face broke on my costume. And I'm like, I'm very anxious now. So now that I have broken my face, I'm either going to go on YouTube and look some stuff up to help me to do better, which I didn't do in the first place. I'm like, it's not a big deal. I'm just making my face, you know, but now that I have broken it, and at time constraints, I'm feeling very, very anxious when I should have just looked up some stuff for help in the first place, and I didn't. So that's just a teeny thing. That's not a big deal. My life is not ending because of that. But when I need to move a sofa, I ask for help. But when I need to do a project I've never done before, I've never done this before ever. It's very much out of my wheelhouse, but I'm like, oh, I can do this bit and I can do that bit, and then things just go So I understand what you're saying. Sometimes the little things we need to ask for help as well. Or like I said, I should have looked it up, and even getting help from YouTube, I think is a positive thing. But I just was like, oh, I can do this, no problem. And then my face broke. So Brandy, I'd rather do it myself because I feel if I ask for help, that means I'm weak. I've always felt that way. And you are not alone, Brandy. A lot of us feel like that. And it comes from when we were little. And when we didn't ask for help, or children are to be seen and not heard, so you were quiet. Or if you ask, like you said, you feel weak. And what we need to understand is that feeling like you're weak is not a bad thing. We've been taught it's bad. Do it yourself. If you ask for help, that means you're weak. But if you feel like you're weak in a certain situation, like this costume thing, you reach out, or, ask somebody who knows. Or like I said, I should have just looked up a YouTube video. I was being a goofball. But so even though in our brains we think weakness is bad, we have to get over that stigma. Because have you seen the memes that say, the strongest person is the person who steps up and says, yes, I'm weak. I need to do, these are the things that I need in my life. That's the strongest person you know. You guys know what I'm talking about. The memes are like, somebody's crying or upset. That doesn't mean they're weak. That means that they're going through something very serious, and that they are very brave if they're asking you for help. I can't think of the meme, but it's basically that. But yeah, Brandy, a lot of people feel like that. And back to what Joe was saying, I guess it's because when you're younger, you just did the little things because you could do them. And then if they screwed up, if say this little thing I did, say I was a kid in school and I was making my costume and I screwed it up, and then I would get, well, you screwed it up, or you wasted money. That's a big deal. You wasted money on this. We're never gonna do this again. Instead of support, where they would be like, don't worry, we're gonna take care of this. There's got to be some other way. Something like that. So did that make any sense to you guys? I know I'm rambling. It's the little things like moving a couch or bed and asking for help is not a big deal. But asking for help with something big, we're like, oh, hell no, I'm weak if I ask for help. Remember, we're not weak. Right. I think you put up those memes I'm trying to talk about. Like, just because I'm this way and you think I'm weak, I'm not weak. I'm very strong because I did ask for help, or I did get help, or things like that. I can't believe I can't remember it in my head. But yeah, I understand both things. And I don't know, is it because I didn't want to bother anybody? I don't know. In my mind, I thought I could do it. And then when it didn't work out, now I'm having anxiety. I'm having a little trouble sleeping. And I don't think I'm going to make the timeline. And, you guys know, anxiety, all the stuff going around in the head. So, yeah, that's my little story for today. Let's get on with the article. All righty. Okay. So, forgetting that asking for help is an option. Do every single thing in my power to get it done on my own. Those are the things we just talked about. Okay. Why is this obviously helpful thing so hard for some of us to do? The following reasons come to mind. We think it makes us weak. We just talked about that. Weakness in our heads is our own worst enemy. Yes, it is, because you can't get away from your head. You can't get away from those intrusive thoughts. you know, they're always going to be there. You know, why didn't I ask for help? Or, oh, I screwed it up, which is something that a lot of people just in their head, they're like, I do it all the time. I screwed it up, blah, blah, blah. So, so we think it makes us weak. We've already touched on this, but we need to, how would we turn that around? We think it makes us weak to ask for help. So how would we turn around and say, asking for help means that we're strong, means that we know when we need help. Asking for help, it doesn't make us weak. It makes us better. So, hey, Jamie, I took a nap. I know Miss Jamie has been sick. When she got back from Florida, she's been kind of sick. So thank you for joining us. You probably needed that nap. So how do we turn we think it makes us weak to ask for help around. So in my head, when I'm like, I'm not going to ask for help because I don't want this person to think I'm a weak person. I don't know how would I go against the teachings of when I was a kid? How do I get that out of my head? So, and the only thing I can think of is that the more you ask for help, the more you get used to asking for help. And one of the things that was said in this article is I don't even think to ask for help because for so long we haven't asked for help. We've been like, we don't want to bother anybody. We don't want them to think we're weak. We don't want to inconvenience them. And we don't, they're busy. We don't want to bother them. So, oh, I don't like asking for help because I don't like being treated like I'm stupid because I'm far from being stupid. So that's another thing. So when you ask for help, you should not be treated like you're stupid. If you're asking for help from someone who's going to treat you like that, we have to break that right there. I'm guessing that came from some kind of from something that happened to younger Shelley. I think that's the hard part. It's still in my head what other people said about me going to therapy, but I just shut it down. I know it helps. Yeah. And I know too, what's today's topic, Jamie, is asking for help, why we don't ask for help, reasons we don't ask for help. And so the first on this one list was because you think it makes you weak. Just PTSD in my head. Okay, Shelley. Yeah. So, and that's something that I think was ingrained from when we were younger. Any of us that grew up in the 80s, 70s, 80s-ish. I was born in 69, so 70s and 80s. That was how people dealt with it. There was no going to the therapist. There was no psychiatrist. If you went to the psychiatrist, oh my gosh, you were off your rocker. And people just didn't want to talk to you. They want to stay away from you because you had to go to the psychiatrist. Then that was serious, So we grew up like that, like Joe was saying. It's still in our heads, even though we know it's not good. It's still in our heads. So we try to shut it down. We do, and for myself, I say the more I ask for help and go to therapy and talk about my mental health issues, the easier it gets for me to ask for help in that area. But I still am a control freak in other areas. So, I still have that mentality of sometimes it's better to do it yourself kind of thing. And I try not to be that way because I know I have control issues. So I try to get rid of some of those, like you said, shut it down. I shut down some of those thoughts about you have to do it yourself to get it done right. That kind of stuff. Yeah. Let's see. She would like help kicking her son's butt. Well, I don't know about that, but I'm glad you asked for help, Jamie. And if anybody can help you here, I'm sure that they will chime in. So I guess I just want everybody here to know that if you need help, don't feel bad asking any of us in the chat about asking for help. Don't feel bad about any of it, because that's what we're there for. We're there to help each other. And um, love you too, Jamie. And so we're here to help each other. This is our group therapy in our Instagram chat. So don't feel bad. No one is going to tell you you're stupid. No one is going to tell you it's insignificant. No one is going to tell you to get over it. We don't do that. Yeah. We don't do that in our group chat. So if you're having difficulty asking for help, go there first. If you're having a problem, if you're having an intrusive thought, go there first. Reach out and anybody can be in there to help you out. Anybody who's on Instagram. And if you don't have Instagram, because like we have some people who don't have Instagram and it's hard to remember to get a hold of them. So I grew up with people that needed mental help, were stuffed like a photo with pills that made them like zombies, and they passed them around like it was candy. Yep. Yep. I grew up with people that needed mental help. They were stuffed like were there prescription pills or was it illegal? My therapist this week asked if I had anyone to talk to about my father's death. I was fortunate enough to say yes, I have plenty of help. Yay, Joe! You're so sweet. And I am so glad that you have tons of help. I know not even just in the group, you have really great family and friends around you because that is so important. Not a photo, silly reread. Not a photo. Help with stuff like a piñata, like zombies, like candy. I think I read it right. Not a photo. I didn't think it was a photo. What did I say? So I am glad that we're here for you, Joe. And you are just one of my favorite people. You see what I see in the mental health area, and you are such a great help to me and to everyone in our group. Just so you know that. So Shelly, go ahead and clear that up. If I said photo, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say photo. I'm going to eat another piece of my big giant cookie. Nom, nom, nom. Mm-hmm. It's a local bakery too, so I can't tell you guys where to get it because I don't think they ship. They were prescription pills that okay. And you told me that they did to your mom, they did just kind of dose her. And I have to say that the stigma that comes along with everything when we were younger was also the mental health professionals at that time. They weren't top notch. The therapists, they didn't have all the education that they do today, and the psychiatrists that have the education they do today. And like I said, I prefer a younger psychiatrist or therapist, not like 20 years old, but younger. I'm 50, so maybe like 30 or 40. Someone who can understand me, but isn't so old that they're set in their ways and they only give you this one kind of medicine because it works for everybody. You know, yeah, so back then I don't think they had the education they do now, mental health education. um and if they didn't specialize in mental health like your general doctor, I have a friend who goes to her general doctor to get medication for depression and stuff, but he doesn't really know what he's doing. So just giving her an antidepressant pill. He's not a mental health provider. He's a general doctor. So, yeah, I think it's better now, but I understand what you're saying, Shelley. And I think that's still kind of a stigma, is that they just give you pills and then you'll just be knocked out. But that's not true nowadays. We've come a long way. Like I said, the 70s and the 80s, we're in the 2024 now. So at least the therapist, now I'm not saying there isn't a bad psychiatrist or therapist, because there are. But if you get a good one, they're not just going to medicate you and expect you to be okay with everything. Just to sit around and be a vegetable. So you might encounter that. But again, with asking for help is also, if this therapist or psychiatrist doesn't work for you, you do not have to continue to go there. You do not have to continue to go to those people. There are, like back in the day, there probably were just, maybe in my small county, there may have been 2 or 3 psychiatrists and maybe 2 or 3 therapists, but now we have a lot more. And also, I like to go to a bigger city to get, I find that they're more open-minded. Let's see. I'm still to this day not a pill fan at all. I understand. I do take medication for my depression and anxiety, but I understand with what you've been through not being interested in the medication. But I have to tell you, Shelley, personally, if I don't take my medication, you'll see me on here. I can't focus. I'll be like, if you watch a couple, well, I don't even know if you can watch them, because I told Miss Jamie we got to clean out our StreamYard, and so I don't know if you can go back, but if you were here, not last week, but last week I was on it, but the week before that I didn't take my medicine. I wasn't prepared, and I was just like, duh. And we finished early because I just had no, so with my anxiety, I take a medication that helps me to focus, because the anxiety, the thoughts going around in your head, the brain fog, it's hard to function. So when I take this medicine, it slows down or stops the intrusive thoughts, and I'm able to focus and complete a task. Because I think I have like undiagnosed ADHD. I definitely have an attention thing where, especially if I don't have my medication, I'll be jumping from thing to thing in the house. I'll start dishes, maybe won't finish them. I'll watch TV, but I'll be looking at the TV, but I won't be paying attention. I'll be in my head. So, yeah. And so for my depression, that's what, I'm feeling a little seasonal affective, I think, now. And plus the whole costume breaking kind of brought me down a little bit. So if I don't take my antidepressant, not only do I have the brain fog, no, Zach, no, don't do that. So without the antidepressant, I have the brain fog, and I am not nice. I am very sad, and my sadness turns into anger. And so the intrusive thoughts get worse. Like with the depression, it's like, I'm not worthy, I'm not good enough, I'm not this, not that. And the anxiety is just everything going really fast. And you can have both of them. I do have both of them. And so if I don't take my medicine, I am not this. I am not a good person. I am not confident. I am not able to complete tasks. So I have to take the medication, because I was a huge mess. I started taking medication, and I can't remember what year, but it happened after my husband, his bipolar was undiagnosed, and he was self-medicating, and it just all came out at once. And that started with the anxiety, and then the depression came with just the work I was in, being an electrician and working in the steel mill. It was just hard being the only woman, and not having anybody that really understood what I was dealing with, things like that. I totally understand pills help, but the way I grew up seeing that it messes with me. Right. I understand. Yeah. Yeah. And Zach, I think I'm thinking of chickening out on therapy and telling them to take me off the list. No, everybody tells Zach, no, no, no. But I know if I do that, it won't help me with my grieving. Exactly. Exactly, Zach. You know that. So don't chicken out. You know that you need the help. Accept the help. Enjoy that you're being helped. Don't feel bad about it. Don't feel like chickening out. Everybody tell him go to therapy. Um because you know you need it, Zach. You know. Okay, quick question. Is it normal that people give me anxiety? I don't think it's like a person who doesn't have anxiety issues. I don't think it's normal for them. But for us with anxiety issues, I think it's something that happens a lot. Does that make sense, Shelley? But people, like we were talking about energy, I think absolutely people can give you anxiety. In the back of my mind, I'm afraid of being judged. And Zach, like we were talking about, when those of us that were in the 70s and 80s born, that was possible back then. But now it's less likely. It's less likely that you are going to be judged. If you feel judged, get another therapist, but don't stop. Don't stop. Um, Zach, therapy really will help you. Don't chicken out. Thank you, Joe. See, Joe told you too. So you can't not do it now. Did I say that right? You have to do it now is how I should have said it. So yes, thank you, Joe, for that. So what I'm trying to say, Shelly, is there may be people out who don't have anxiety. So, and they may not be sensitive to other people's energy. I'm sure there are. There are people that live every day and don't have anxiety or depression, or at least not serious, not diagnosed like mine. Well, now I have to go because Joe and Crystal told me to, and they're my biggest supporters. Yes, Zach. Thank you so much. It would make me so happy and proud for you to come back and tell us that you had therapy session and how it's going. We would love that. You don't got to tell us the details, just that you had a therapy session and how you're feeling about it. And if you feel like it's not working, we'll help you with that too. So don't, and you both scare me. Yes. Yes, Joe, we both scare. Me put on my scary face. I don't really have a scary face, do I? It's all kind of like cheeks. I know it just looks funny to me, so I can't really be scary. I'm glad I scare you, Zach. Shelly says, people's energy drives me bonkers sometimes. Yeah. And I think that goes into a lot of people who have mental health issues have other things like are more creative, are more like into know or feel the energy, are more I don't want to say intelligent because I think people are intelligent, but us with mental health issues, our brains work differently because the mental health issues are differences in our brain chemistry. Um, they're not called diseases because they're just whims. They're called diseases because our brain chemistry, the reason I have depression and anxiety is because of trauma through my entire life, not just, I didn't have severe depression when I was younger. I had anxiety. And then it eventually turned out that I had both. But those were from trauma from situations at work and in life and things like that. So, so I have an imbalance in my brain chemistry. That's why I take the medication. And those medications work in your brain to give you things that you don't get normally. And so more creative, more inventive, just And you'll find some people, like artists and things like that, who do have drug problems and alcohol problems. They don't want to take the medication because they think it'll take all their creativity away. I don't know if you've ever heard that, but I have heard that as well. My biggest issue is I bottle things up, and and the therapy is going to help you to unbottle, and I think that that's going to be positive, very positive. I understand the bottling things up. I do. I do. Um, and it's something that you've probably done all your life, Zach. So now, this therapist, hopefully a good therapist, will help you to understand why and how to positive coping blah, positive coping mechanisms, because we've all been taught the bad coping mechanisms, right? Society, TV, they all tell us about the drinking and the drugs and all the things. Um, but the therapist should give you positive coping mechanisms to deal with things that happen to you in life. And we don't all learn those coping mechanisms. And for everybody, they're going to be different. Um, so yes, I'm so glad you're going to go. So, oh, my coffee's gone. All right. There's more in the kitchen, but I'm not going to go get it. All right. What time do we got here? 2:36. Okay. Yeah, like when I get bullied in school, I kept that from my parents. Yes. So you're bottling that up. You didn't feel like you wanted to bother them. But you know what? Like in one of the articles we were reading, you're paying the therapist. So uh feel like maybe it'll be easier to talk to them because that's what they're there for. And they're supposed to be discreet and they're supposed to be helpful. And like I said, hopefully you'll get a really good therapist. That doesn't always happen. And you can come and tell us and we can help you through that as well. So, yeah, I know you didn't want to burden your parents. Sometimes I can understand drug addicts because all they want to do is numb the pain in their head on how they're feeling. Yes, that's exactly right. They want to numb it, but you can't live with a numb brain. And also drugs, the illegal drugs have, not that the prescription drugs, they have side effects as well. Hey, Nay, how are you doing? So, but the illegal drugs, since they're not prescribed, you can die. You can die from medicating yourself. And so instead of numbing the pain, the medications I take. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Are you guys still there? It circled on me. It circled on me. Let me know if you're still there. So, yeah, that's exactly what self-medicating is. It's dulling the pain. Oh, that's great, Nay. I'm glad you're doing better. Hey, Joe. We're still here too. We got about half an hour. Oh, yeah, I asked you to tell me that you're still here. Yes, thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys. I got the circle of death. I don't know if you saw it, but I did. And I was like, holy cow. So I finally got my computer fixed. I tell you that. I had to put all the buttons back and I messed up only one for the whole thing. So I was proud of myself. And it's still in here. I can still use it. I'm not here, LOL. I'm at work on break. Yes, Zach. We appreciate you being here on your break. Yes, you froze up. I did. But you can see me now, right? Okay. So what were we talking about? Yeah, self-medicating. And why? Here's the thing that I don't understand, and it's just me not understanding. Why did our parents or aunts or uncles or whoever back when we were little, why did they think that self-medicating with alcohol and drugs was better than going to the doctor and getting the correct medication for your brain? And I think it's just they didn't know, we didn't know. Okay, good. Okay. Um, we didn't know, they didn't know. And again, the healthcare system wasn't as good as it is now. And we still have a long way to go. The healthcare system isn't perfect, but also regular doctors aren't perfect either. So So you have to be your own advocate. And sometimes that's hard. Like the one said, the one article before this one that we just skimmed through real quick said, be specific when you ask for help. Sometimes you don't know specifically what you need help with. So sometimes you just need a general, I don't know what it is. The therapist will help you talk it out and kind of work through it and see where your issues are, because you may have no idea. I know I didn't. Um, Sorry, I have been here. Joanne was holding my phone listening. Can everyone say hi, Joanne, to make her smile? Hi, Joanne. Yep, you definitely have to be your own advocate. Exactly, Frugal Mind. Exactly. And knowledge is power. And just like I can't express it enough. When you go in the hospital, you are paying those people to take care of you. If they're not doing a good job of it, you don't have to be, um, oh, well, they're busy. Oh, well, they this or they that. I understand that. And I've been there. You wait patiently. I get it. But she said hi. Hi, Joanne. Thanks for being here with us. Okay, let's see. Shelly said, because doctors back then was the ones that gave those drugs to them and said there's nothing wrong with them because they didn't want to deal with it. Oh, and we all know about the opioid crisis, and that was regular doctors giving out pain medication. They didn't know what they didn't know the truth because the drug companies were lying to them. So, yes. Yes. So I don't, to be honest, I don't trust drug companies and everything they say. And I do my research when I have to if I've got to take a new medication. I do my research. I had to start a new medication for diabetes because I can't get the Trulicity until until January. And so I looked it up to see what it was. And my doctor, it's better than the one she had me try before that messed with my stomach. So, but you still have to look it up, see what it does to you and what you can expect from taking it. I don't look at all the side effects because if I get a side effect, I will look up and see if that's one of them. But they list everything under the sun under side effects to protect themselves. They knew, but they were getting enough money to not give a shite. Mm. Have you seen any of the documentaries? Some doctors didn't know, but they were definitely getting kickbacks. Yeah, they were happy with the kickbacks they were getting. Yeah. So, yeah. I think it was on Netflix, the one with oh, I love him. He was Batman, he was Beetlejuice. You guys know who he is. Michael Keaton. He's in it and it was so good if you didn't see that. I seen that one on Netflix. It was crazy, right? Oh, so good. So good. But crazy. He ended up being a doctor and getting addicted, and his patients got addicted, and you know, yeah, it was so good, and crazy. Okay, let's see. What else are we? Let's take a look back at this article. Oh, we think it makes us weak was one. We think it means that we're not capable, that we're incompetent. That's a big one for me. Not asking for help because I don't want someone to think, and we just touched on that, Shelley, right? Someone to think I'm stupid and to treat me like I'm stupid. I'm not incompetent and I am capable, but I need help. So, yeah, we think it means that we are not capable, we are incompetent. And again, those are feelings that have been ingrained in us. Let's see. We are afraid others will judge you. Right? Zach was just talking about that as well. I see that one. Oh, okay. Zach was just talking about that as well. You think that they'll judge you. And I'm not saying they won't. I'm saying that they cannot talk about what you talk about. That's illegal. Unless you give them permission to talk to your parents. But I wouldn't do that. Zach, you're old enough. You don't need to do that. And then they can't, I mean, they can't be rude to you. If they're rude to you, you get a new therapist. And don't feel bad about it at all, because if you go to the restaurant and you buy the hamburger and the hamburger is not cooked the way you like it, say it's raw inside. I personally cannot just eat the raw hamburger. I have to send it back or get something else. And I know people are like, don't do that because they'll mess with your food. But I don't believe that that's true. I know that that has happened in the past. But I don't believe that is true now. And I'm never rude about it. I'm always like, I'm sorry, but I can't eat this. It's not fully cooked. But with our mental health, we take, whatever we get, and we don't complain about it. I guess the parallel was that if your mental health is raw and not good, send it back, get new help. So, and I know that insurance is also a big thing, and we haven't touched on that yet, but we will, about how it's difficult sometimes to find a good therapist because of your insurance. All right. We're scared to be vulnerable. That is true. Hyper independence was modeled for us. Asking for help was shamed. Hyper independence was modeled for us. Asking for help was shamed. So true. So true. We just need a good chief. But hyper independence is something that I struggle with as well. And that was a positive thing. If you took care of yourself and all that when you were younger, when we were younger, and it was looked upon as, if that person was doing good, they were taking care of themselves, they had a job, they weren't complaining, we didn't need to see, they were just doing just fine. That was looked upon as good, and that's what we want to be. We want to be good humans, but we didn't see that that also can lead to us not asking for help. Good chef, yes. We just need a good chef, that's all. Yeah. So the hyper independence, I understand. That's what I always wanted to be, and I always was independent from my family. I needed to learn how to be dependent on my husband, not fully dependent, but we had to work as a team. It took a lot of years for us to figure that out, working together as a team yeah, I understand. Working together as a team to complete our life goals. When I became disabled, the hardest thing was I had been hyper independent. Yep. I had such depression from needing Jason's help. I totally get that, Joe. When I first had to not work, it crushed me. It crushed me because not having a job was always looked down upon in my family, you know. Um, and I still got a little slack from some people. I had to straighten them out, but just one or two people I had to say, I worked for 36 years. I started when I was 16, I worked for 36 years. I paid into Social Security all that time. I am not in the position to get another job. I am not able to uh get another electrical job. I'm an electrician by trade. Oh, well, can't you do something else? Well, I shouldn't have to, because I paid into Social Security for all this time. Now I'm disabled and I don't want to be a cook. I don't want to be a hostess. Well, I couldn't do any of those jobs anyways because it's standing. But, you know, uh, and this person has horrible health. They just don't take care of themselves. They don't go to the doctors like I do. And so I did get some slack like that. Like I'm sucking the government dry of money. I'm a not a good person. I'm like, I paid into that for a long time. I've worked since I was 11 babysitting. I paid taxes since I was 16. So being disabled is not a bad thing. Well, it doesn't make you happy. It's not like I want to be disabled. Hello, I would like to. And they think everybody just wants to collect a check. I'm like, no, everybody doesn't just want to collect a check. I can't work So it makes me very sad. And you treating me like this right now is not helping me. So stop it. Yeah. So I said, we're going to have to agree to disagree because I'm going to stop talking to you about this because I don't agree with you. um, I had so much depression when I could not work, Joe, and I still have dreams about going to work or trying to work and then hurting myself worse and being like, why did I even do that? Why? Oh, yeah, my sister thinks I'm a piece of because I can't work. And see, that's not right. That's not right. My sister has been disabled for she was probably in her 30s. She has the fibromyalgia. And back then, there wasn't a real good diagnosis. They thought everybody was making it up. It was at that time, everybody's making it up. You know, you just want a freebie. And she was in pain that whole time. And nobody in my family was supportive in that. So I was working and I was supportive in that with her. And I was like, yeah, I don't understand your pain, but if you tell me about it, I probably could, with her. So I tried to build a rapport just to help with medical issues and stuff like that. Because just because you're on disability doesn't mean you don't want to work. And I still have bad dreams. Like I go to work, like I just told you guys, I hurt myself even worse. And then I messed up my social security, but I feel like I'm a better person because I have to work. But now I can't work anyways because I've hurt myself even worse. Um, let's see. Yeah. Yeah, I paid into that. Why do you think I shouldn't get that if I need it? Now, if I could have worked 5 more years, I so would have. I was going to retire at like 59 and a half, 60. I was going to retire at 60. When I did retire, I had 7 more years. Yeah, 7 more years to go. And I was going to be okay with that. I was going to work as an electrician, finish it out, and then collect. But because 7 years earlier I was injured, I'm a horrible person. I'm like, get out of my face. I don't need this. I don't need this. Jaren's mother-in-law thinks that about me too, Shelly. But you know what? She's actually a piece of the same thing. My uncle thinks I'm a piece of shite because I'm 30 and still live at home. And you know what, Zach? That's not unusual. Your family needs you, helping with your mom and your dad around the house and everything like that. So if they didn't want you there, they would kick you out. And you are working. So, it is what it is. My uncle lived at home till he was in his 40s. What? Isn't that the worst? The people that come at you are the ones that are the worst. Like this dude coming at me about my health. Why can't you still work? And I'm like, he was one of the people that was like, you should get over it. Everybody that says they have anxiety is lying. It's not real. And oh man, I went off. But let's see. But they're the ones telling you you don't need help when they're the ones who should be in therapy because they're crazy and they should be going to the doctor more because they're in really poor health. So I ended up having to unfriend her on Facebook because I couldn't handle all the criticism anymore. It was making my depression so much worse. And when it comes from family, they know how to hurt you the worst, because especially a sister or brother, they've grown up with you. And when they should be supporting you and they're not supporting you because they're, I don't understand that myself. But they do know how to hurt you the worst. And like I said, when I wasn't a very nice person in my 20s, I was real good at it. And I don't do that anymore because it's not okay. And people thought it was funny, so I would do it, criticize and whatnot. But it's not funny. And I don't do that anymore. But I did. I was there. And I was the one that was calling the kettle black. You know what I mean? So I had to learn. I don't know if I had to learn. Well, I had to learn the hard way. I ended up with mental health issues. And then I had to start, working through my issues and then seeing that I'm not the only one in my family that has the issues and that how we can address it and, things like that. So, but yeah, that's how I am with my dad's family, Shelly. That's the messed up part. We didn't grow up together, so technically she didn't really know me from Adam. Oh, and so she's just criticizing you. She doesn't even know you. You know what? She has nothing better to do, you know. And then there are people who criticize you so nobody looks at how bad their life is. So there are people like that as well. Look over here. Don't look at me. Look over here at this person, you know, while I'm doing drugs. They're not working. They're not, you know, they're on disability, you know. And I'm like, it's not like I don't know. I don't know. I just don't understand people like that. I don't. And they're the ones that continue with the stigma, you know. So yeah, Shelly, it's probably better that you unfriended her. Oh, okay. Yeah. So she probably has a lot of mental health issues as well. And so she takes it out on you so nobody's looking at her and she's not dealing with her issues. I'm just guessing, you know, Shelly, I don't know her like you said from Adam. But for her not to really know you and to come at you like that, something's up with her, not you. She's using you to help herself feel better for some reason. And especially if you're in that, I could write a book on my family. Yeah. Me too. But I don't want to go back and relive all that stuff. Yeah. Okay. Let's see what time it is. 2:57. Okay, we're gonna have to wrap it up. Um, I want to thank everybody for being here, and we'll continue with this article next week. Like I said, we're not going to do the private live until next month, but we will still do a private live. And just thank you guys all for coming. I had such a great time talking to you about my issues. And like I always say, this is therapy for me. I appreciate you all. And I hope that we helped you. I hope that everybody in the comments, myself, helped everybody today. My PTSD has stopped me from remembering all the BS. You know, that's probably why I don't remember a lot, Shelly, but I haven't been diagnosed with PTSD. I figure there's only so much room in my head and I just block that stuff out because my one therapist, I was talking to her and I said, you know, I wonder if like the memories, why I don't have these memories. And she said, well, it's probably trauma. And she said, are you sure that this is something you want to pursue? If you've ever been in this situation, guys. And she said, is your life good yet trauma block? So she said, do you feel that this will help improve your life? Is this really, she didn't feel that this memory block was affecting my life. And she said, so you want to make sure that you really want to delve deep into these memories because they may be things that you don't want to remember. And if they're not causing you a problem, maybe it's better to not. And I said, you know what? I don't think I want to delve into that. I don't know if I've told you guys that before, but she was a very helpful therapist and she was very understanding. And she wasn't trying to say we don't need to do that. She was saying, if we go down this road, you need to understand. And she explained to me what it would be like, how we would go through it, the stuff we would have to do, what could come up. And did I feel like any of that would affect my life at that point? And I said, no, I don't think so. I think all the issues that I have and have addressed are things that I remember. So I want to remember what the trauma is that my brain is blocking. And if I had said yes to her, we would have pursued it. If I had said yes, I really want to know. I'm feeling very stifled, or I can't seem to do this. I can't seem to, and it may be something with this block. She didn't feel that way, but if I had wanted to pursue it, she would. That's a good therapist. right there. That's an example of a good therapist. So we're gonna wrap it up, and we will talk again next week. I think it's the day before, the Wednesday is the day before Halloween. So if I have my costume done, I may show it to you a little bit. We'll see. There's so much of my childhood that I don't remember. I don't either, Shelly. When's the next private live and slumber party? Well, the next slumber party is when you would like to have it, Miss Jamie. Bye, Joe. Have a great day. So the slumber party we have to talk about, but that's up to you. I'm ready when you're ready. And the private live isn't going to be until before Thanksgiving next month. So I will totally put it in the group chat. So you guys have a great day, everybody. I will talk to you later. Yep, it's 3:00. So bye, everybody. Bye.